Okay, so the Eagles just released their offseason workout, OTAs, and mandatory minicamp dates, and it's way different than last year. Meanwhile, Vic Fangio has a strong opinion on where Cooper DeJean needs to play in 2025. So much to break down, including the Cowboys trading for their future QB1. And is it true the Eagles had interest? What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. If you rock with our Philadelphia Eagles, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss the videos. So the Philadelphia Eagles off-season dates have just been announced. Players report for voluntary workouts on April 21st, 3 days before the Eagles crush the draft. But more importantly, the OTA schedule for this offseason, May 27th and 28th, then May 30th, then June 2nd and 3rd, and then June 5th, finishing up with mandatory minicamp on June 10th. Now, April 21st voluntaries are pretty much just workout sessions and getting in shape at the facility. People don't got to do it because they've been doing that on their own. However, OTAs are different as they are on the field activities, so you want to get most of your guys there working with the team. That being said, if a couple of guys miss OTAs, it's probably for good cause. Nothing to be worried about. Only worry if they miss that mandatory minicamp. A couple things that I do find interesting about this schedule is last year was the first time in Nick Sirianni's 4 years that the Eagles even had a mandatory minicamp. For reference, in 2023, and I know that was the choke season, the Eagles went into it with 6 total days of OTAs and 0 mandatory minicamps. Now, last year, in the redemption season, the Eagles scheduled 7 OTA practices and 3 mandatory minicamps, which was absolutely necessary due to the way the 2023 season ended. But if you remember, it wasn't just Nick Sirianni saying we need more practice. We brought in a tough-minded DC who likes to practice more. He got the old school mindset. We're talking about the legendary Vic Fangio. So I don't think he's going to be too happy dialing it back to 1 less OTA and 2 less mandatory minicamps. Lastly, on this whole topic, the Eagles are the only team in the NFL to have only 1 mandatory minicamp for this offseason. Everybody else has at least 2. Right or wrong, good or bad, it is warranted. Being the 2024-2025 Super Bowl champs, that's a lot of football played. Moving on to John Clark finding Vic Fangio at a Phillies game and still talking Eagles, asking him about Cooper DeJean staying in the slot or moving outside. He said, and I quote, "I really like him as the nickel. I like to see him stay at the nickel. He plays it very well. He's got good size in there, and I think he enjoys playing that position." Pretty much what we all been saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Not only is it not broke, he's the best slot in the NFL. With the amount of players that go into the slot nowadays, it's becoming more and more a staple of the defense and a very important position. You got guys like CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Puka Nacua. The list goes on, and although a lot of them play on the outside too, they scheme them in the slot to try to get them matched up against a bad slot guy, a safety, a linebacker. Fangio ain't having it. This is why the Eagles brought in Adoree Jackson for competition for that second outside spot, while having Kelee Ringo on the roster, who's going into year 3, but younger than Quinyon Mitchell. Think about that for a second. Some guys are ready to go right away. Some people need a year or 2 in the league. This year, this offseason, this training camp, we'll learn a lot about Kelee Ringo. However, if Fangio thinks he's ready, then I believe Fangio. On that note, John Clark asked Fangio about all the guys leaving in free agency, and he said it's going to be tough, but that just means I get to nag Howie Roseman more to get their replacements, but he does feel good with what is in-house, and he did talk about the upcoming draft. Now, before we talk about the corner that Fangio could be looking at in the draft, plus touch on the Cowboys' future QB1 they got via trade, and much more, let's hear a word from our sponsor, Ekster Wallets, the best on the market. Are you tired of your old wallet? Don't lie. Well, look no further. Ekster got you covered with some of the coolest wallet designs I've ever seen. A flick of a button and your cards pop out. The easiest access ever. Plus, a money strap to put your cash in the front. This wallet can hold up to 12 cards utilizing the back plate. Or use that space for your card tracker. I'm telling you, this thing connects to your iPhone. And if you misplace your wallet somewhere in your house, it helps you find it. And the best thing about these wallets is it blocks RFID from wireless theft. As for their other style, it's premium leather. It also has the quick flick function to access cards easy and has every single thing that the other one had, including the tracker card, which you can put inside a wallet or outside a wallet. And of course, your cash could go a multitude of places in this one. And both of them come in a variety of colors. So enjoy up to 30% off until May 19th. Use my link/promo code Philly at checkout to get an additional 10% saving. Once again, click the link in the description or use the QR code on the top right. Then don't forget to use promo code Philly at checkout to get an additional 10% savings. I absolutely love my new wallet. Like I said, go get yours. But before we continue, you gotta hear a man call his mayor incompetent because he's a Cowboy fan.
This is what happened, guys, residents of Upper Darby Township, when you elect a Cowboys fan to your government. 29 years of losing with this team. What do you expect with the leadership? This is a Cowboys fan. This guy follows the Cowboys. You see what type of leadership they have, and that's what you put your trust in, a Cowboys fan. Sickening.
Absolute mic drop.
Thank you.
Bro, you can't make this stuff up. Now let's talk about the corner that Fangio could be eyeing in round one, or if we move back slightly in the second. Maxwell Harrison, who set the track ablaze at the NFL Combine with a 4.29 40. He also had 3 interceptions returned for touchdown the last 2 seasons at Kentucky, and 6 interceptions in total. Mind you, he only played 7 games last year, so he's doing all that in a limited sample size. Having Harrison's speed and ball skills outside corner opposite of Quinyon Mitchell with Cooper DeJean roaming around the defensive formation and in the slot, the Eagles secondary might just be unstoppable with how important the cornerback position is in Fangio's defense. I wouldn't be shocked to hear that Fangio was in Howie Roseman's ear if this pick is made. The cornerback position is critical in Fangio's defense because he wants to get home with 4 guys more often than not. A la the Super Bowl, 0 blitzes, a lot of pressure, and the back end doing its job. The tape is good when you watch it. If you wanted to talk about his weaknesses, you can say at times he can get handsy, which could cause flags. You can also talk about his size and the fact that he didn't play much in college. But he's physical and can play press when need to. You can utilize them as a blitzer. Fangio likes versatility. He also has great recovery speed, so he could be more aggressive. The burst of close is like no other. Change of direction. Plus, this guy has 5 interceptions in 2023. And like I said in the beginning, 6 total interceptions. 3 he brought back to the crib. The guy is just versatile when it comes to man or zone, which Fangio likes. Moving on to some rivalry news, Adam Schefter tweeted earlier, New England is sending quarterback Joe Milton to the Dallas Cowboys, sources tell ESPN, with Cooper Rush going to Baltimore. Dallas now has a new backup for Dak Prescott. Now, this is interesting because he was a rookie last year, so he still got 3 years on a rookie deal. And although he was a 6th-round pick, the Cowboys only gave up a 5th. Joe Milton had a little hype coming out of Tennessee. People talked about his athleticism and his strong arm. Of course, he wasn't a finished product and had some flaws. That's why he went in the 6th round. However, he had a good preseason that the NFL hyped up. And the last game of the season, when the Patriots played the Bills, they put him in, and the dude had a heck of a game. And if we know Cowboy fans, if Dak gets injured and Joe Milton comes in and starts balling, they're going to want to keep him. If Dak starts throwing interceptions, they're going to call for Joe Milton. Heck, people were calling for Cooper Rush and Trey Lance. But I'm telling you, the last week of the season, Joe Milton film, you can see it as I'm showing it. Nice throw after nice throw. Definitely had the NFL hype, and I believe the Cowboys are talking about that hype now. Honestly, it's a good trade for the Cowboys. We'll see what transpires out of it, but it's fun to poke about Dak Prescott having competition. However, the best play was on third down. It was a holding play, so we got called back. He literally spun out of a bunch of tackles, ran out of a bunch of tackles, runs to the sideline, and then slings it for a touchdown. Like I said, it was called back. And so he's going to the Cowboys. That's probably their best move of the offseason. I do want to show y'all this, though. Jordan Schultz tweeted, "My understanding is since Joe Milton became available at the start of the offseason, teams that showed interest include the Raiders, Eagles, Giants, Steelers, and Cowboys. The Patriots have better offers for Milton, but chose to send him where he wanted out of respect for him, per source." Now you may be thinking, what? The Eagles had interest? Well, remember, we traded Kenny Pickett for DTR, a mobile quarterback who does have some upside. Not as much as Joe Milton, but definitely some upside. The Eagles still love Tanner McKee, but if necessary, they're trying to groom a mobile quarterback to have as a backup for Jalen Hurts. That's probably why they had some interest. With all that being said, let me know all your thoughts in the comment section. I absolutely love hearing from y'all. Some of y'all told me that YouTube is not notifying you when I drop videos, so turn notification bell off, then back on, or just make sure you're subscribed. Appreciate all the support. Like the video. Y'all know what to do. Drop the muscle emoji. We got to stay Philly strong, and I'll catch you on the next. We out.